This old guy DIY video has to do with the unboxing and assembly of an Oregon 600RT 60-inch tiller from Tractor Supply. So this thing was picked up the other day. It cost about 1,700 bucks. Looks like it's pretty heavy duty. I'm going to pull the crate off of it and assemble it here shortly. I just used a wrecking bar to pull the crate apart. You see there are a couple spots where the unit is bolted to the skid. So I'll take those bolts out now. And then the way it's delivered, basically it's on its side. So then I'll tip this thing up. So far you get a little plastic tote that has a bag of hardware in it. You have these two pieces that'll go up to the top link, I believe. And then we have the PTO that comes with a clutch assembly on it. So I'll keep working. Removing the lag bolts only requires a 1/2-inch socket or wrench. And I just raised this rear flap out of the way. You can see the actual tiller assembly. It looks like it's pretty sturdily built, so I'm looking forward to putting this thing in service. Bucket down to the lower links to the 3-point hitch, and I'll just lift it up enough so I can pull the skid out from underneath it, and then I'll put down this little blanket, and then it'll stand. Now, assembly was pretty straightforward. When you get the unit, you want to remove the 2 pins, and then be sure you remove this bolt back here, because it's in place to hold this bracket to this structure before you put this little A piece in. And then the A pieces go here on the inside of that steel plate that was already welded to the tiller. And it's pretty straightforward. The 4 longest bolts go in these positions, 2 on each side. The 2 next longest bolts, one here, and the 2 shortest bolts go over here. And then when I got this thing, I thought this was just a basket to put parts in, but it's actually a clutch guard, and it just has 4 little bolts in here that take a 1/2-inch socket to send them home. So the thing is assembled. I just need to put the 3-point hitch on it. It's all pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, and then you put this guy up here on top with a spacer in it and tighten that down. We'll be in action here shortly. Each universal joint has a zerk on it, so I greased these before I mount the PTO shaft to the machine. They each took 2 shots of grease before a little bit was coming out at the seals. Now the pin for attaching the PTO to the tiller itself has kind of this neat taper on it. It just has a locking nut on the other end, a little nylock nut. So now I'll join these things together. Install the pin, if you use this little access port, you can stick a 3/4-inch ratchet in here and get to the nut easily. And then these things just flip up, stick them back through, and now we have the PTO installed. Now this is what the zerk fitting for the bearing on this end looks like. Here's the end of the tiller. So I don't know if that means that they missed when they were trying to apply grease. So I'm going to wipe that off and give it a couple shots of grease. So actually what happened here is that zerk fitting is cross-threaded. So I'll remove it and see if I can put it in properly. If not, I have to go visit my buddies at Tractor Supply. I was able to thread that zerk in. You see it seated nicely. I just gave it 3 shots of grease and it accepted it. So we'll keep moving. Recognizing how critical lubrication is on a machine like this, I'm surprised they don't make a bigger deal of it in the manual or put some type of marking here on the back. But I've laid this thing face down, and the manual says to go ahead and pull this middle plug out, and that's where you put the gear oil in. So I'm using a 5/16 Allen wrench socket, and I'll take that out and put some gear oil in here. Well, we have the tiller all lubed up. So the fill on this side is over here, and you want to fill it until a little bit runs out of this hole. And it'd be too easy if they told you the volume, but I think I used about 1.25 gallons between this gearbox and the gearbox here. And again, this is the fill hole for this one, and you want to fill until the lube comes running out just a little bit. So I did a video before on my Pat's quick hitch, so we have that hooked up. We've got everything in here ready to go. The top link is set, so it's time to go till.